We're looking at the strains of yesterday. We are looking at the legends, the legendary cannabis strains that have built cannabis culture into what it is today and who we have to thank for what we see before us. And today, we're looking at one of the more unique strains in the cannabis lexicon and one you can still find pretty much everywhere. The delightful, the delicious. And if you have had anything with blue in it, you know what we're talking about. We are talking blueberry. I'm excited. So blueberry first saw the light of day back in the 80s, right? And it came directly from the skill hands of a guy who earned the nickname the Willy Wonka of pot. We were talking about the legendary breeder DJ Short. This is a good guy to know. So he was a Detroit native before he moved over to Eugene, Oregon and started his career growing cannabis in the 70s. Now he kind of reminisces when he was growing up. Whenever he found like a good strain, a good weed, it was only around for a little bit and then it was impossible to find. The only thing around was Mexican brickweed after that. He got so tired of it in 1973, he got a hold of this little plastic seed starter he got out of a cereal box, right? And he shoved a whole Hawaiian bud he had in there. He was just saving it for a rainy day. And I guess it had a seed in there because when he put that Hawaiian bud in there, all of a sudden he grew his first official cannabis sativa. Now in that time, everybody was all about these high-grade sativa land races that everybody was importing from all over the world. That's what everybody was about. Indica was only just being introduced. People were seeing it as a hash plant. It wasn't really for smoking flower. Nobody really knew what to do with it, right? But this was also the time that proper indoor grow lights started to become commercially available. And the war on drugs was reaching a new fervor, a whole new height. So all of these marijuana grows were starting to move indoors. And that's why hybrids started becoming this big popular thing. Because how do you grow a 20-foot sativa that takes 5 months to mature in a basement in Oregon, right? I'll tell you how you do it. You cross it with an indica that only grows 6 feet tall and flowers in 8 weeks. That's how you do it. So, and this is the current culture that DJ Short was kind of making a name for himself in, right? So all of the strains that he gave the world, and he gave the world several, they all came from only 4 genetics that he was working with. Thai, chocolate Thai, Afghan, and Oaxacan gold. That is it. So all these strains, they were special. Not everybody could get them, but they weren't necessarily obscure. They were available to people. So why was DJ Short the only one who was able to capitalize on this sweet purple goodness? Why was nobody else able to find it? Well, I'll tell you, because he did something that nobody else was doing at the time. So at this time, right, cannabis strains, they tended to veer one way or the other, sativa or indica, either sweet, citrus, woody, or kind of earthy, spicy, a little bit gassy. This purple flavor, purple color, it wasn't really a thing yet. People weren't looking for it. They had never seen it. DJ kind of just stumbled on it by accident. So when you breed cannabis, what do? You take one male, like I said, like you take a male, you put it with a bunch of females, and you let it pollinate. So when you take your females, you're able to kind of pick and choose the traits you want to pass on to the next generation. You can see it right in front of you. But you can't really do that with males. Males don't flower, so you don't necessarily know what you're going to pass on to the next generation. It's a bit of a genetic grab bag. So everybody who was hybridizing at the time, they were taking sativa males and crossing that with indica females. They were chasing the smaller, faster growing traits of indicas, so that's why they wanted the indica females. But DJ did it the other way. He took an indica male and crossed it with sativa females. He wasn't so big on indicas. He wanted to pick and choose his sativas. And so basically what he did was he got a hold of this really pure indica seed, right? It came from another kind of marijuana growing group, and he used that to pollinate this sativa that he really liked and he was working with. It was called Purple Thai. So Purple Thai was a cross between chocolate Thai and Oaxacan gold. It had all these really good purple notes to it. So that first generation of that cross, it was a pretty standard mix between an indica and sativa. It was kind of right in the middle, had a lot of flavor, good qualities. He liked it. He actually called that strain Flow, and he kept it. But because of that grab bag of indica genetics that were coming through, the babies of Flow, they started to kind of branch off. You saw all these different phenotypes starting to come out. And one of those was this deep purple berry note that DJ thought was really cool. He had never seen before. So in order to bring that out, he took another Thai strain called Juicy Fruit, some really fruity tropical strain, and crossed that into Flow. And after years of stabilizing, He was able to really nail down that sweet, juicy note, that deep purple berry flavor, and it turned into the blueberry that we know and love and changed the game for all cannabis strains to come. So of course DJ kept on breeding. You know, he was giving his seeds out to seed banks, but it was really his customers in Eugene, Oregon that really made blueberry famous. Now remember, blueberry wasn't called blueberry on this time. It didn't have a name yet, so while he was working on that what would become the blueberry strain, he was also working on a bunch of other things too. And he was selling all his work to his customers, right? He's got to keep the lights on. How else do you do it? But when his customers kept coming back, he'd offer them what he had, but they were going, no, I don't want that one. I want the kind you gave me before, you know, that kind. So people started calling, so until like the 80s, 90s, people only called blueberry the kind. That's what it was called. Which is also not to be confused with kind bud, which is a term that came out of Hawaii for generically really good weed, right? So that's how blueberry kind of came from. Eugene was also really a stopover town for all the musicians and acts that were playing in Portland at the time. So Eugene, Oregon got this reputation for being this really cool place with this killer music scene and this chill place for artists to come and kick back while they were on tour. So as DJ put it, all the cool rich kids would come up to Eugene, smoke their weed, and take the genetics back to Northern California. And that's how blueberry really got out and became as ubiquitous as it really became. So if you smoke the blueberry strain, you're going to notice a uniquely, really delicious scent and note in it. It's got this really rich, fruity, deep flavor to it, a little bit of an earthy undertone with these calm, soothing effects that really well balance, with a body high that really well balances the more energetic notes of the sativa genetics. So it's really a perfect strain if you want to just kick back, unwind, but not completely go to sleep. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed blueberry. If you've ever had it before, let me know in the comments. I want to know what your favorite blueberry strain is, and if you smoked it back in the day, I want to hear what it was like back then.